Are we live? How can I tell if we're live? Just don't screw this up, Zephyr. Are you there? Can you hear me? I'm communicating to you from an alternate universe. It's actually an alternative to alternative universes. That's where I'm coming to you. Hey, don't dig in the couch. I taught him how to dig the crap out of the couch. So, for this Purposeful Pointlessness show, episode 20, which I'd love to celebrate, 20 episodes deep. Wow. This is a dream come true. Ever since I was a little kid, like 25 years before Facebook was invented, I always dreamed of making it in YouTube. I always dreamed of making it 20 episodes deep into what would be called the Purposeful Pointlessness show. So, big celebration. My guest tonight is Zephyr. He's acting a little indifferent. Do you want to acknowledge everybody? You see? You have no idea how many people are watching you right now. Zephyr's keeping it real. Let me tell you how it works in my house. I sit on the floor, Zephyr gets the couch. Seems about right, as far as I can tell. By the way, if you're there, thank you for being there and choosing to go into hypnotic trance with me in front of you. I realize when it comes to putting yourself in a hypnotic trance of staring at social media, you have many options. So I'm really honored that you would choose to go into a hypnotic trance, shut your brain off with me in front of you. That's amazing. And I'm guessing you've already dissociated from the reality of what I'm saying. I'm saying some amazing things so far, Zephyr. I always know I'm saying amazing things when Zephyr stops paying attention. So, it's like 20 episodes deep. And I appreciate you being here with me. Tonight will probably be just a little short check-in show, a little quickie, if you will, because it's kind of late. I'm on the East Coast. By late, I mean it's, I don't know, like 9:30, which is late for me. I actually don't know what time it is. I'm guessing it's 9:30 right now. Let me actually check the clock. Oh, it's not too far off. The clock says 9:39. And that's an oven clock, which is like way more accurate than iPhones. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so I'm tired. So we probably won't go too long tonight. Though I will say, I'm missing my lady. And because I don't drink, at least not very much, just a glass of wine here or there. But because I don't drink, I can't drown my sorrows with alcohol. So I might just try a strategy of drowning my sorrows by Facebook living, YouTube living. So if we get like 7 hours deep into this live video, excuse me, I almost threw up in my mouth, then you know I am trying to just drown my sorrows via live videoing. So yeah, can you ask me how I'm doing, Zephyr? I think that'll really kick the show off well. Oh yeah, I'd be happy to share with you how I'm doing, Zephyr. Appreciate you asking. Mention I'm missing my lady, which I am. Amber, you've probably seen Amber on my videos, my page. My heart smiles for Amber. She's been gone for about a week and a half. She's doing a lot of retreat inner work kind of stuff. She's in Peru, and starting yesterday, she's like deep in the Amazon, where she doesn't even have internet connection. So I don't get to hear from her for I don't know, almost another week. So, based on that, life is crap. Nothing to live for. I get to feel how codependent I really am. And I thought I was super codependent to begin with. Turns out I was wrong. I'm like a level higher of codependence. What's higher than super codependent, Zephyr? Like really super codependent. So anyway, I'm missing her. I'm not totally sure why I started saying that. Oh yeah, because if this show goes 7 hours, you'll know why I'm drowning my sorrows by excessively talking at you. It's just so I don't feel my feelings. I find the best way to deal with my feelings is to not feel my feelings. I think that's how you define emotional healing. And I think that's what Brene Brown's work on vulnerability is really about. Like taking a look at like tenderness and emotions and then figuring out how not to feel that. Is that right, Brene? Brene, if that's wrong, just comment in. And if Brene doesn't comment in, then I think that validates this as 100% correct theory of what true vulnerability really is. Wow. Passionberry bliss. You treat me so well. I feel so much more passion and bliss. Like, who are you to tell me this freaking kombucha? It's not sponsored, by the way, so let's have my agent invoice these bastards for me showing them. So, Passionberry Bliss, like, who the hell are you to tell me what to feel? Like, the fact that you're suggesting I should feel blissful drinking your product, it's like violating. I should sue these bastards. So I'm doing well with Amber being away. I feel more put together than ever before. So let me share a little bit of what I've been up to before I share some other things that I won't know I'm going to share until I'm sharing them. I just got back last night from Florida, Cape Coral, Florida, by the way, to be exact, is what I meant to say. I was taking a class with my wonderful mentor, friend, / brother, / just awesome guy. I love him to death, John McMullen. He's I've been studying with him, learning from him about the terrain of the human heart and soul for 14 years now. So this was the first class I've done with him in the past 3 years. So kind of like full circle, hero's journey, left on the, venture, initiation? Yeah, whatever. Came back, took class with him. Wonderful. I was very honored. Also, I had a chance to teach a section during the 4-day experience with him. And the interesting thing on the flight there and the flight home, none of the airlines beat me, which is kind of surprising based on the news. And it's not really new news. You probably heard about it. Was it United beating the living crap out of that man because he didn't want to get out of the seat that he paid to be in? What a self-righteous guy. He expected to sit in the seat that he paid to sit in. Luckily, United put him in his place by beating the crap out of him. It's like if you check out at Whole Foods, you have a kombucha or something, then before you walk out of the door of Whole Foods, there's someone there who it's illegal for you to touch in any kind of way, or else you're probably going to prison for a long time. But they can somehow mercilessly beat the crap out of you because you're trying to take the kombucha that you paid for. It's like, who are you to think that you can keep what you paid for? So they beat the living life out of you because when they said, like, you give us back that kombucha, you're like, no, I paid for it. They beat the crap out of you. So anyway, by the way, United Airlines, I will purposely not fly with them. And I fly all the time, and oftentimes I am flying with United. Haven't flown with them since they did their little, what do you call it? I would call it felonious assault on a nice human being. I haven't flown with them since then, and I absolutely don't plan on doing that. You might say, Zephyr's thinking this, you might say, JP, why won't you fly with United? Honestly, and I hear a lot of other people say, yeah, I'm not going to fly with those bastards. Third time I said the word bastards today during this broadcast. Doing well. So why? It's like, because I want to punish them by not giving them business. And you say, well, JP, isn't it kind of immature to want to punish them? Like, two wrongs don't make a right. Actually, if you multiply two wrongs, they do make a right. Negative times a negative is a positive. So mathematically speaking, if you're multiplying, two wrongs absolutely do make a right. And yeah, like I feel okay passive aggressively punishing the crap out of these people that like physically punish someone. Man, there's a lot to be grateful for in the world. But that's not one of those things. So United Airlines, I don't approve. Not at all. Now I'm going to disconnect from all of my feelings. I'd like to use kombucha to disconnect from all of this emotion, which actually, that reminds me of a line. One of my absolute favorite videos online is called How Enlightened Families Argue by my good friend Kyle Cease. Man, anytime I drink kombucha, I salivate so much. So if I start drooling, it's just because I'm tired of swallowing. We'll get back to Kyle Cease. I'm used to swallowing at a certain rate per minute. So like SPMs, swallows per minute. I don't know what it is, probably between 3 and 6. But kombucha, it triggers me to need probably between 9 and 12 swallows per minute. It gets a little much. So I might get fed up with that. If I start drooling, you'll know why. It's just because, like, bro. By bro, I think I'm talking to God in this case. Bro, like, I don't want to be swallowing as much as you're trying to make me swallow, so we're not going to do that. Back to my good friend Kyle Cease. This is going to be like a shameless plug of his book. Why? 2 reasons. 1, I love the book. 2, I freaking love Kyle. Do you know who Kyle Cease is? If you don't know who Kyle Cease is, United Airlines should put you in your place. Now, I'm kidding. I'm mostly kidding. I'm at least 15% kidding and 85% serious. I might be just like dead serious on this. But anyway, big congrats to my friend Kyle Cease. Released his book called I Hope I Screw This Up. Was released last week. It's doing amazing. I absolutely love the book. And Kyle, if you ever have a chance to watch any of Kyle's videos, let alone see him live, let alone get his book, which is like easier to do than seeing him live. Like, you can order his book on Amazon, but you can't order him live on Amazon that I know of. It'd be interesting, like Amazon Prime. I want to see Kyle Cease in person, and they just like bring him to you within 2 days, free shipping. So anyways, book's probably easier to do. And I don't know if you can see that. It'll probably show up insanely backwards because I don't understand why live videos just inverts everything. It's like, why don't they just like show me or whoever you're watching, like show you the person like inside out? Like you see their intestines instead of their outer appearance. That's, in my opinion, what, like, same thing when they're like inverting left and right. I don't know. I'm just a redhead. I don't have the answers. What the hell was I saying, Zephyr? Oh, yeah. The back cover of the book. Yours truly dropped Kyle an endorsement. And honest to God, I am very honored that he and the publisher put my endorsement on the back cover. So let me read it to you. His book, I hope I screw this up. Kyle screwed up screwing up this book because it's a phenomenal source of power for self-transformation. Can't read. My condolences, Kyle. Anyway, check that out if you want. I made a fun little video. It's just a little bit over a minute. It's on my Facebook page. Posted it. Whatever. About what the hell was it? Week ago, 5 days ago. Check that out if you want. I had fun with that. Oh, there is probably my all-time favorite author. I want to give a shout out to his book. It's been released for about a couple months now. It's just off the charts phenomenal. If you don't have it yet, there's a good chance your life is going to be ruined. And it'll completely turn your life around if you get the book. It's called How to Be Ultra Spiritual, 12 and a half Steps to Spiritual Superiority. This is by, J.P. Sears. Oh, that's pretty good. What Tony Robbins say about J.P.'s book? Loaded with laugh-out-loud humor and intelligent exploration of the spiritual delusions many fall prey to. Enjoy J.P.'s perceptive underlying insights while you laugh beyond all understanding. Tony Robbins. Here's what's interesting. I'm going to praise the endorsement of my book at the expense of myself. This is actually an interesting dilemma I haven't thought of until now. When you compare Kyle's book and mine, the first cover or the first endorsement on the back cover of Kyle's book is my endorsement of it. But the first endorsement on the back cover of my book is Tony Robbins. So it's like based on the weight of the person endorsing the book, you'd say like, JP, that's amazing. Your book has Tony Robbins. That's way better than the top endorser of Kyle's book, which is me. So it's like, do I love myself more or do I love my book more? Got to go with I love my book more. So Kyle, the first endorsement on the back cover of my book is way better than the endorser on the back cover of yours. And yeah, by the way, that's a completely legit Tony Robbins endorsement. Love the guy, and I so appreciate his support. All the other endorsements on the back of my book are not legit. I made them up because I thought they would be way funnier than what actual people would say. At least I'm not self-absorbed. Okay. Let's bring my guest on. Zephyr, anything else you want to say? He's like, I just want to bite your face for disturbing me while I'm sleeping. Zephyr, we don't bite faces in this house. We only bite hands. Have you read any good books lately? And I only want to hear your answer if the answer is mine. Otherwise, you're illiterate to me. That's fact. It is a fact that that's my opinion. And it is my opinion that it's a fact that that's my opinion. And that's a fact. So what do you have coming up? I just asked you because I want to tell you what I have coming up. Don't you love it when you're in a conversation with someone? My ear itches. You're in conversation with someone. What the hell's wrong? Why would I say that out loud, Zephyr? Don't you love it when you're in a conversation with someone and they ask you exactly what they want you to ask them, and it's painfully obvious? I love it when it's painfully obvious. It's just like, so awkward. By awkward, I mean manipulative. So anyway, what do you have coming up? Oh, I can't hear you, so I might as well tell you my answer to that question. I've got to plug my stupid old iPhone in that's linked up to YouTube. Thank God they make iPhones so the battery life goes down to about 3 minutes. That way you have to buy a new one. Thank you. Thank you, Apple. Y'all are amazing. Yeah, this very exciting part of the show. So what I have coming up, let's see, Thursday I'm going to Encinitas, California, one of my favorite places on earth. Encinitas is very near and dear to me. Maybe I'll tell you why in a second. But I'm going to Encinitas. A couple things I'm doing there. I'm giving a TEDx talk on Friday. It's called, let's see, I should probably know what my talk is called. I think it's called Saying Yes to Your Weirdness. So I'm doing that TED Talk on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday, this Saturday and Sunday, I think it's May 13th and 14th, I'm doing an event, 2-day workshop called Elevate Encinitas. I've got two of my great friends, and I highly respect them as colleagues, Brandon Hawk and Daniel Eisenman. They're doing that event with me. So we're going to be teaching people what we know, what works for us, as well as what hasn't worked for us on how to activate, launch, and monetize your inner genius, aka using your gifts, letting them freaking out of however you conceal them. So I'm excited about that. If you care to join us, there's still spots left. You can go to my website, shameless promotion, Zephyr. Do you feel it coming? Zephyr feels it coming. awakenwithjp.com. I've got my events page there. So if you care to join me and Brandon and Daniel for the Elevate Encinitas event, feel free. And let's see, if you want to join me for the TED Talk, I actually don't know how to do that. I don't know if there's still tickets available or not. And if there are, I don't know where to get tickets for that. I hope they let me in for free because I'm giving a talk. So I'm sure you can Google TEDx Encinitas. I think it's actually technically called TEDx Cardiff by the Sea, which is a specific part of Encinitas. So, just Google it. But anyway, if you can join me for either one of those, love to have you. And before we get to what else, I'd like to say my friend Daniel Eisenman, who's doing the workshop with me, Elevate Your Influence in Encinitas, this weekend, have you seen his video where he's oming to his beautiful new daughter? Her name's Davina. If you haven't, it's actually I shared it from my Facebook page, I don't know, a week ago. So it's a handful of posts back. But that is just, that video really strikes my heart. If you haven't seen the video, his daughter starts screaming and crying. She's like 3 weeks old, maybe. And he just starts oming to her. And you just see how she reacts. She stops crying, but you just see this blissful look wash over her. And she just goes right to sleep. So that video that's gone insanely viral, I know from his page it's got, 36 million views, and then it's got millions of views from other pages. It's really been shared around the world. He's been on the news in India, China, America, maybe Canada. I don't know if they have the internet in Canada. But anyway, it is just stunning. A little inside information about that. I don't know if I'm allowed to share this, but I think I am, so I will. He and Daniel and his wife Deanna, who, by the way, they're both in my various videos. One of them, If Meat Eaters Acted Like Vegans. So if you want to know exactly who I'm talking about, you can check out that video. But Daniel and Deanna, they did a home birth. And when Davina was born, they had this monk chanting, the soundtrack, playing on their computer or stereo, as opposed to like monks in their home. So they had these monks oming when Davina was born. Is that why she's so soothed by Daniel's oming? I don't know. It's what she heard when she was welcomed into the world. Do babies hear right away? You know how they don't see right away? Is that true? Maybe that's just because their eyes are closed. Is that why babies don't see right away? I know I don't see well when my eyes are closed. All right, JP, you're poking holes in my theory. But anyway, yeah, so I'm super looking forward to going to Encinitas. Encinitas always treats me well. I lived there for 10 years, from like 2003 till 2013. Absolutely love Encinitas, California, one of my favorite places on earth. It is freaking overcrowded. I don't like that about Encinitas. But last time I was in Encinitas, probably about a month ago, for a show I did, book signing at the show. That was beautiful. Had a sellout crowd of, I think we had over 250 people. So man, I just feel loved by Encinitas. Can't wait to see y'all super soon. And then before we get on to something more interesting, do you guys want more shameless self-promotion? Zephyr says that smells like a yes. In a week and a half, so what is that? The Saturday, May 20th. Definitely pumped about this too. I'll be in New York, and I'll be doing a workshop, offering a workshop at Alex Gray's place, Chapel of Sacred Mirrors. And I'll be co-teaching this one-day workshop with my great friend Chris Grosso. He's an author. He's got, one of his most recent books published, also published by Sounds True, is called Everything Mind. I love Chris. He is a brother. He and I have co-led events before. Love it. But the cool part, amongst all the other cool parts, one second, is we're freaking doing that at Alex Gray's place. Yeah, salivating again, kombucha. So if you know who Alex Gray is, you'd say, oh man, that's awesome, JP. And if you don't know who Alex Gray is, you're probably thinking, JP, who the hell are you talking about? Alex Gray does all the visionary art, incredibly cosmic, energetic-oriented pictures. I guess paintings would probably be the more appropriate words. So definitely stoked to be at his facility, and I believe Alex and his wife Allison are going to be doing a Q&A panel with Chris and I for the audience at the end of the workshop. Super stoked about that. And stoked my lovely lady Amber's going to be with me for that. I'll be excited to be out of this life is crap depression from missing her. I'm just kidding. I'm not depressed about this. I miss her dearly, absolutely. But I'm not depressed. Am I? I don't know. Maybe. That brings me to my next point. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. You're not saying anything. Sure you can hear me? Did you happen to see, I guess I've done 2 new videos since, maybe 3 new videos since the last live broadcast of the Purposeful, Pointlessness show, where we just have a discussion. Let's see, the most recent video. No, let's go most unrecent to most recent. What's the opposite of most recent? Most distant? Whatever. The video called Passive Aggressive Relationship Techniques. Did you see that? My lovely lady Amber's in it. Had a lot of fun with that one. Can you relate to that at all? If you've ever been in a relationship, chances are you see me promoting what not to do. You probably see portrayed what you've already done and maybe what you're already doing in your relationships. How do you connect to your beloved? Through the strands of passive aggressiveness, or do you connect through acceptance, playfulness, curiosity, love. It's funny, a lot of us think, well, yeah, what love is it's when I'm being paid attention to. Zephyr doesn't think so. But yeah, I think connection is one of the most fundamental needs we as humans have. And if we, connection, period. Not necessarily nurturing connection, healthy connection, but connection is the need. And if the best we know how to give and or receive is passive-aggressive connection, then that's what we create in our relationships. And I would dare say, feel like pounding something. But I'm not going to, because I think that'd be obnoxious on the audio. I would dare say we can do better than that. We can, now I feel like I'm like speaking at a Greenpeace rally. We can rise above the passive aggressiveness that we're used to connecting with our beloveds via, and offer them something better, and most importantly, offer ourselves something better. And then let's see, the other newer video I did, released it last week, called Higher Education. What'd you think of that? Full disclosure, I both did and did not go to college. I did go to college in the sense that I went for 3 months, and during that time I figured out college isn't for me, not at all. Which also means I didn't go to college for the time that I did not go to college. And I surely don't have a college degree. But anyway, I'm curious what you think of the higher education video, where, in my opinion, I'm highlighting, I think, the shadow side of the dogmatic mindset that says you have to go to college to become successful. I think it is a great idea to go to college if it will actually serve you. I think it is a terrible idea to go to college if it won't serve and support you, but you go because you think you need to go, or that's the only path to success, or even the probable path to success. So, am I against college? No. Am I for college? No. I am for doing what will serve you best. And, if you want to be a doctor, lawyer, those are usually the cliche examples, and obviously college is a no-brainer. If you want to go into some kind of business, then things get a little dicey. Is college for you or not? Here's something interesting. Did your parents go to college? Mine didn't. So they typically had the mindset that said, we didn't go to college, so we want you to have a better life, JP, so you go to college. And then parents who did go to college, they can come from the mindset that says, we went to college, so you should too. That's the path to success as we know it. But what if you had parents who kind of made it on their own? Or even just imagine, kind of like entrepreneurial parents or very creative parents, maybe parents who learn from alternative sources. If they had kids, they probably wouldn't be dogmatic advocates of college. So I find a lot of our parents would advocate college because either they went to college or they didn't, and they have regrets in their shoulda, oughta, gotta, had to, need to sort of critical talk inside says they could have had a better life if they went to college, so they want to live through us and push us into college. But we have to ask ourselves, is college right for us? Like I'm 36, I'm not. Maybe generation younger than us. So I do, gonna get opinionated, not even gonna apologize for it. If you get offended by what I'm about to say, then please watch my video called How to Get Offended. It'll help you get even more offended than you are right now. So here's my opinion. Colleges are first and foremost a business. Unless they're kind of like non-profit colleges, then they're like first and foremost a business that's disguised as something that's not a business, that is truly a business. So I think colleges are all about business first, as most businesses are, not about serving and supporting you first. So the ratio of valuable education relative to valuable money you give them can be significantly off. And then there is significant question around How relevant is the education you get from college? How up to date is it? And does that education come from people who have proven this works in the world? Does it come from people actually practicing their craft or not? I think we deserve to ask ourselves those questions. But anyway, the passions of my heart spoke in the higher education video. If you haven't checked it out, I would definitely invite you to check it out. And if you have checked it out, I'd invite you to, watch it again. Or just do something interesting with your life. So a little bit about me. And now that I'm done talking about myself, let me talk about me for a minute. Myself, and I would say the vast majority of my friends, especially the friends that I would consider successful. Let me tell you what I mean by success. Success can be a combination of they earn a good living and have a high quality of life. They feel fulfilled inside to at least some degree. I don't think any of us are 100% clicked in. I'm super fulfilled 100% all the time. So very few of my close friends who meet those criteria of success went to college. I didn't go to college. And I think, I can be dogmatic and just like anybody else and have the mindset that says everybody should do it the way I did it. I definitely don't want to go down that extreme route. But what I have found is there is a wealth of wise people to learn from. Kind of alternative courses, just finding wise people and learning from them, interning with people who do what you want to do, which I've done, rather than interning with people that teach about what you want to do, even though they don't do it, but they have a really good memory, so they're good at teaching the theory of what it is you want to do. So it blows me away how much wealth of education is out there that doesn't reside in universities. And I know we kind of, likes attract like, just like a magnet, even though opposites attract with magnets. So given the fact that opposites, or that likes obviously do attract, I realize like some of my friends in my inner circle, they're similar to me, didn't go to college because that's how I am. But I also really admire and I'm fascinated looking at their paths. Like, wow, you are so amazingly successful and you didn't go to college. If I didn't know any better, I would start to think the individual is what creates success rather than the college or lack thereof. So here's my advice to you. Push all of your chips, into the poker analogy, put all your chips on you. Not a university, not alternative education. Bet on you first and foremost. And what helps you unleash more of you? What helps you connect to more of your gifts? What helps you refine them? Whether that's college, or if that's college, cool. If that's not college, cool. What matters most to me, in my delusional opinion, is people make a conscious decision, a well-informed decision, not a fear-based decision. The fear-based decision that says, if I don't go 100 grand in debt, then I won't make very much money. Let's do the math. You're not making very much money getting a little judgmental there, JP. So regardless, a conscious decision is really what I advocate for, and that's really the heart and soul of the message of my higher education video. I think we need to rethink what we dogmatically think about. That isn't necessarily our thinking, but they're thoughts that have been put out there from whoever that we circulate in our brain, even though we may not be the originators of those thoughts. Zephyr, anything else to say about college? I'll tell you this. Zephyr did not go to college. You didn't, did you? You didn't even go to obedience school. And you have me trained so well. Zephyr, what's your secret? what Zephyr is telling me through his doggy eye contact, his secret to success is lots of naps, lots of treats, lots of sniffing, and walks. If that's not a perfect metaphor for your and I's success, I don't know what is. I have no idea what that metaphor really stands for, Zephyr. Again, if you're just joining me, us, I'll say us so that you guys who have been watching feel included. I'd like to manipulate you. So I want you to feel included so you like me more and pay attention to the stuff that I put out. So if you're just joining us, this is how it works in my house. I sit on the floor. Zephyr gets the couch. There's the other couch, but Zephyr doesn't want me to sit on that, so I just thought I should listen. Zephyr, what else do we need to be sharing with everybody? That's a good point, Zephyr. Well, we're going to sign off here in a moment, but I will say, appreciate you spending part of your evening with me. I think it's mighty fine of you. I don't know if I've ever used that term before. It's mighty fine of you. Who says mighty fine? Is that Southerners? I'm in the South right now. Mighty fine. I don't know. Let me pretend to ask you some questions about you so that you feel acknowledged, even though I can't hear your answers. What's working well for you right now in life? Specifically, inner fulfillment. What's working well for you, contributing to your inner fulfillment? How connected do you feel to yourself and people around you? Some of you are thinking, well, I don't feel very connected to people around me. Then my question for you is, what do you think is blocking that connection? If you pretend for a second that every damn thing in your life is your fault, and I mean that in the best possible way, you are so powerful that you create your life the way you have it. Not necessarily consciously, like welcome to humankind. The unconscious mind is probably significantly bigger than the conscious mind. But if you pretend that you have the power to actually create your life, and therefore if you don't have connections with people the way you would like, then my question is, what do you think you're doing to prevent those connections? Maybe your conscious mind, if I still pretend I'm talking to you, says, well, I'm not doing anything to prevent the connections. I want connections. I want deeper fulfillment with people. Then I would dare say, I'm not asking your conscious mind. I'm asking you to become conscious of what you're unconscious of. If that makes sense. Beginning to figure out what you don't know about yourself. So, I do believe that most of our self-sabotage doesn't come from our conscious mind, it comes from our unconscious mind. We do things to ourselves that we don't know we're doing. So, in the name of self-responsibility, by the way, if you need to be a victim, you just, JP's full of crap right now. So, for the rest of us, I think I just passive-aggressively shamed people who get their needs met as victims. Did you catch that, Zephyr? What might you be doing to block the connections you want? For that matter, take a look at what you think is wrong in your life. Now we're going downhill. It started optimistic. Now we're getting completely pessimistic. What about life isn't satisfying for you right now? And riding the wave, sliding down the slope that says I am responsible for every damn thing in my life, whether I like it, whether I love it, or I despise it. What am I doing to myself to create this exact circumstance that I despise in my life? And how is this potentially comforting me? You might say, well, it's not. It's uncomfortable. Let's rephrase the question then. How is this discomfort potentially comforting you? How are you potentially getting comfort through discomfort? I have no idea what your answers are to those questions, And I'm 100% okay if you have no idea what your answers are to those questions. What I think is most important is you ask yourselves those questions. Ram Dass, I had to swallow very awkwardly. Ram Dass once said, you can't get out of a jail you don't know you're in. And I personally think asking ourselves questions that have the connotation of self-responsibility, that directly look our obstacles in our eyes. So asking ourselves those questions from that angle, that those give us the keys to getting out of the jails that we now know we're in, if they're self-induced. And maybe all jails are. Even the external jails. People go to jail because they did something to get into jail, so they put themselves in jail. And isn't that a story of what we do to ourselves in our lives? Unless someone's wrongfully convicted. Here's how I could justify wrongful convictions. They probably did something in a past life, and their karma's come back to get them, so they deserve to be in jail, even though they did nothing to deserve to be in jail, because they did something to deserve to be in jail in a past life that they didn't get caught for. They got caught in this life. I think we should take that to the justice system. And like when they're about to release a wrongfully convicted prisoner, then we'll try to get them actually put back into jail because of the evidence I just said. Man. And I'm not even a lawyer. I didn't go to college to learn to be a lawyer, yet I think what I just said is more lawyer-esque than what any lawyer could have ever said. I think it's proven my understanding of the law is probably way beyond any judge, lawyer, jury member. Juries don't. Man, I've had so many jury notices sent to me when I lived in California. It would be over my dead body that I go to jury duty. And you might say, well, JP, you are being disobedient to your civic duty. Like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, and I feel 100% great with it. I'm okay if you don't feel great with it. But someone once told me, if you don't respond to the jury notice, then they can't prove that you got the jury notice in the mail. And because someone told me that, I assume it is 100% fact, because I wanted it to be true. And maybe the authorities are listening, watching this right now, and they'll come take me to a jury. Man, yeah, it's like I like to do what I want to do. Like my work would just shut down if I'm sitting in jury duty, like trying to convict, like, did this guy run the red light or didn't he? Those red light murder trials. I think when I'm older and when I'm older, I'd like to serve on a jury once. When I'm older. Like the next time O.J. Simpson kills someone, I'd be up for being on that jury. I would, and I definitely would want to get him off. It's like, O.J., don't take your arthritis medication, put on a latex glove, at least one, and then try to put on this glove that won't fit. Yeah, I would totally be on the O.J. jury. So, yeah, whoever organizes the juries, next time OJ kills someone, just know I'd like to volunteer. Unless I have something better going on, then I just won't respond to the jury summons. Why did I start talking about juries? I was probably going to say something about, judge, lawyer, jury member, but juries don't necessarily know anything about the law. They're just supposed to pretend like they know. If I was on a jury, I would completely zone out during the whole trial, and I would just make my decision based on how the defendant looked. If I liked the way they looked, I'd say not guilty. if I thought they looked a little bit off, I always judge books by the cover. The back cover, in the case of Kyle Cease, endorsement from JP Sears on that. All right. Wow. I feel like we really went down a rabbit hole with that jury talk. Kind of extended this broadcast by an extra 10 minutes, Zephyr. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's like now we're into quantity, not quality. By the way, I'd love to get to a question or two. Not many. A question or two. People. Just a question or two. I love you guys. Thank you for letting me talk to you like I'm an idiot. So yeah, I've got YouTube going. I've got Facebook going. So if you've got a question, preferably one that you can write in a sentence or less, otherwise the comments will just scroll too fast. Kat K on YouTube asks, how much do I love coconut oil? 7, obviously. How is Amber? Thank you for that question. As far as I know, she's amazing. She's deep in the heart of the Amazon now. I don't know if that's true, but she's somewhere in the Amazon where she has 0 internet connection, so haven't been able to talk to her for about a day and a half. My intuition tells me she is amazing. How can you unlearn the story you have of yourself? Yeah, I love that question. How can you unlearn the story you have of yourself? I think first off, realizing that your story about yourself is just that, a story. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with who you are. I think our stories we have about ourselves are principally constructed out of one of two things. The story of who we think we're supposed to be, or us rebelling against who we think we're supposed to be. And I think another ingredient, let's throw a third one in, our stories are also based on how we see other people seeing us. So it's like, in other words, who we think other people think we are, principally our mothers and fathers, because we get a lot of childhood programming. They call our childhood our formative years for a reason. That's because during that time we form a significant sense of self, a significant story about who we are. So, a couple things. Reiterate. Probably just everything I need to tell myself, I'm going to try telling you. Realize that your story about yourself is just that, a story. So now you're kind of like the observer of it. You're not just first person hypnotized by it. Number 2, you can ask yourself, who do I think I was to my mother? Who do I think I was to my father? So then you'll get your story about their story of you. And you start to realize, like, okay, that's what I think their story is of me. That can be their story, or at least that's like what I think is going to be their story. So we separate ourselves from that so that we don't have to be it, so that we don't have to think that we are something that we're not. We are absolutely not the stories that we believe other people have about us, formative years, stuff we still carry, and we are absolutely not our own stories about ourselves. You know, the shadow side of a story is it's something very small that can't comprehend something much larger than it. And I think we being like humans are much larger than any story. And with that said, I guess I feel like I'm giving advice. A third piece of advice is ask ourselves 2 questions. Who am I? A lot of us are really used to the idea of telling other people who we are, telling ourselves who we are. What if we graduate from that delusional sense of certainty into a higher vibration of curiosity by being willing to think and speak not through the rigidity of statements and certainty, but think and speak in the fluidity of curious questions? Who am I think is way more nourishing for us than us telling other people who we are. But when you ask yourself, who am I? it's a little unnerving. Like, it's a little scary to have no clue of who we are. And I think the truth is we have no clue of who we are. That's why we create fictional stories, so that we can be certain about them, so that we can avoid feeling how scary it is to truly have no idea who we really are. And I believe the more we stay certain of who we are that has nothing to do with who we actually are, the more our stories of certainty serve as a membrane that disconnects us from the miracle that we really are. Second question I would ask myself, and I would ask you to ask yourself if it resonates with you, is the question that says, what wants to live through me? I've had this question written on my desk for probably at least 4 years. It's a question I heard one of my favorite authors named James Hollis say, what wants to live through me? It's not what story do I want. I mean, it's a story. It's a question of surrender, not of certainty. It's a surrendered question of curiosity, not a rigid statement of certainty. What wants to live through me? So I think a question like that, which I ask myself every day, as long as I look at the note that's been on my desk for 4 years, that helps me leave some of the stories of who I am. By the way, going off on this question, which means I probably really need to hear what I'm saying. The story we have about, our stories of self, stories about ourselves, stories about who we are. I think we need those. But can you have the story and not believe the story? It's like you might look at your favorite movies. Like, those are all stories and they're great. Keep them in your catalog. Life would be crappy without the entertainment of stories. And stories can convey lessons. But just like when you watch a movie, you realize, yeah, this is a story. And I don't really believe this story. I'm just enjoying this story. So I would dare ask yourself, enjoy your stories about yourself, but don't believe your stories about yourself. Have your beliefs of self, but don't believe your beliefs of self. I think that's probably all I want to say about that. I love the question. I appreciate you allowing me, like you could stop me if you wanted to, but I appreciate you allowing me to get a little bit long-winded of that. Anna asks, what about yourself are you most proud of? Man, Anna, I love the question. And part of me wants to be self-deprecating and say I have so much more room for growth and so much more room to honor myself. And I think that's all true. But I don't want to just lodge myself through the deflection of self-deprecation. So what I'm most proud of about myself is my willingness to do things that scare me. I think the more I'm willing to take risk, leave my comfort zone, and embrace discomfort, the more my life gets enriched, the more I grow. I look at anything I do in my life that I feel is meaningful, and I realize I wouldn't have this meaningful thing in my life, this meaningful experience, this meaningful offering to the world, this meaningful aspect of just my personal life, if once upon a time I didn't step into what was a drastically uncomfortable spot for me. So my willingness to do things that make me uncomfortable is what I'm most proud of. Zephyr, is that okay with you? I'm also so proud of Zephyr. He's a good boy. I taught him how to sleep. Let's see, let's maybe hit like another question or two. We'll just pretend like we're all a family. Meredith Hurt asks, do you believe in God? Yes, I do, but I don't believe my beliefs about what I think God is. One time I told a friend who was incredibly religious at the time, kind of fundamentalist Christian, and I said to him, I think here's what I said to him. I said, I don't think you believe in God. I think you believe your beliefs about God, which I think have nothing to do with what God is, who God is, which probably, like everything I said about the stories about ourselves, I think can be applied to God as well, because what if God is ourself? What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us? Just a sloth like one of us? So yeah, basically what God means to me, it's not like, wow, that's a guy with a gray beard in the sky. I don't. The idea of humanizing something beyond us, I think, is our human mind way of trying to comprehend the incomprehensible, and I think that does a significant disservice to us. So I don't think God is a human that is not a human, but sure as hell acts like a human. To me, what God is whatever's beyond ourselves and ourselves. Like God is everything. God is also dog spelled backwards, so Zephyr's in on this. Last question, Brandon Jones. I love the question. Top 5 favorite authors right now. It's a good question because I've got just finished Kyle's book. I've got to say Kyle Cease, love him. Neil Donald Walsh. Ooh, speaking of God. Conversations with God, probably my all-time favorite book. My lovely lady Amber, she just read it and she was just, she really connected to the message, really lit her up inside. So Neil Donald Walsh, definitely one of them. James Hollis, he's a Jungian psychologist. He's written a good handful of books, maybe more. One of his books is called Finding Meaning in the Second Half of Life, which I think is amazing for people to read no matter what place in life they're at. So how many is that? Kyle Cease, Neil Donald Walsh, James Hollis. Did I say anybody else yet? I want to say Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle. Is that 4? I am frightened. I'm not going to be able to think of a 5th one. I'm terrified right now. You have no idea what kind of stress response I'm under right now. The fact that you asked me this question means you're intentionally trying to hurt me because it's making me have a stressful thought. Let's see here. Let me just get over myself. I'm going to go with giving you 4 instead of 5. Because like those 4, yeah, I'm going with 4. Love it. Jeffrey Perry is the 5th one. JP Sears, the 5th one is JP Sears. Thank you, Jeffrey, for being so on point. Okay, I mean it for real. I think it was about 23 minutes ago at this point. I started wrapping up the show, saying goodbye. Now I am truly going to say goodbye. I so appreciate you joining me, spending a little time out of your evening, paying attention to this purposeful pointlessness ramble. I love it. Zephyr appreciates it. I think Zephyr was really a stellar guest on the show. He really brought, I think, not so much in the way of spoken words, but so much in the way of unspoken words and messages. So I'd like to thank my guest, Zephyr. I'll be having him back on as soon as possible. So appreciate you guys. I look forward to seeing y'all soon. Oh, now you look. Yeah, we're saying goodbye. Anything else you want to say? Apparently this show wasn't very entertaining for Zephyr. You gonna throw up on the couch? If he actually would have thrown up, it would have made for good video. And I wouldn't have even been mad. It's actually Zephyr. He's thrown up in bed in the middle of the night, like him sleeping in my bed. And like I've rolled over into his throw up. And I don't even get mad at that. I don't think there's anything Zephyr can do to make me mad. Just love the little guy. So now that Zephyr's licking his private parts, I'm going to say so long for now.